Are you looking for a betting platform with zero restrictions and where you can buy crypto using PHP directly? Look no further than DexWin. The platform is designed to make it easy for you to buy and sell your favorite cryptocurrencies using Philippine pesos with low fees and a user-friendly interface. But that's not all. DexWin also offers you the opportunity to bet on your favorite NBA games and superstars in the playoffs and mix and match parlays to win big. Whether you're a seasoned sports bettor or just starting out, they have everything you need to make the most of your wagers. And with their instant withdrawals, you can quickly and easily get your money when you need it. When you're withdrawing your winnings from sports betting, they make it fast and easy. So what are you waiting for? Join DexWin today and start taking advantage of all the benefits they have to offer.
Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Navs Effect. I am your host Naveen Kantalani. Joining me today, ironically, are two big-time Celtics fans. Of course, Josef, you guys already know him if you've been listening to the podcast for a while. And a new guest on the podcast today, his name is Jay Pastrado. He's a writer for multiple sports, a writer based here in Manila. He also follows the Celtics, does NBA draft content. So check out his work. We'll let Jay tell everyone his social media handles in a little bit. But the reason I brought these two guys on this podcast episode today, aside from the fact that they're two NBA aficionados, Celtics aficionados to be specific, well, we've got some news as of late related to the Boston Celtics with the trade of Marcus Smart that I wanted to touch upon. And I would say that even if I don't follow the Celtics as much as these two guys do, I've seen a lot of the Celtics on the other side, having followed the Miami Heat the last few years. This Boston Miami thing is something that's been the case since like 2010. So yeah, it's safe to say the two fan bases are familiar with each other. And of course, we've got an off season coming up. The NBA draft just ended. Free agency, trades, all of that's coming up over the next 2 weeks. And then we're going to do something new towards the end of this podcast here, where we're going to do a redraft of the 2017 NBA draft. An NBA draft that I find low-key very interesting and underrated just because of the talent that was in the draft, but at the same time, the order of where those talents went. So if we're going to redraft 2017, we want to figure out where these guys are supposed to go in their proper spots. That's towards the end of the episode. First, I want to get an idea of what it's like to be a Celtics fan and to lose Marcus Smart in a trade which I thought Boston got a great return for, 2 first-round picks for Marcus Smart when they had quite a few guards in rotation, Pritchard, Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon. Derek White, I thought, really played well last season. But of course, Marcus Smart means more to the Celtics fan than just another hustle guy on any other team. And at the same time, of course, Boston also got Kristaps Porzingis, which adds a new layer to this Tatum Brown generation of the Celtics. And the Kristaps Porzingis contract, of course, is a $36 million, if I'm not mistaken, expiring deal. So it's not like Boston's inclined to re-sign or extend him right away, which I'd be surprised if they did, given his injury history, given they already have another big man in Rob Williams, who's injury-prone, given they have another big man in Al Horford, who... I don't know. Did he hurt his knee when he did the timeout celebration in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals? I'll have to
come on, that's too soon.
That's foul. That's foul.
Come on,
That's foul. That's foul.
Timeout. No, okay.
Time out. All right.
Do you guys like how I just slipped that in? It sounded so serious. No, okay. But so you got Al Horford. He's old. I think we can say that. He's still good, but you're not playing him 30 minutes a night anymore. And Rob Williams, we know that he's also talented, particularly in defense. But the question is, how long before he falls down and you hold your breath for a second? So here comes Kristaps, who just had his best season in the Wizards, where I thought he was the best player in that team, actually. He might have led their team in scoring, definitely at least second. He was their best three-point shooter, best rebound, best player in so many ways, and he gives them another weapon. But it comes at the cost of, like we said, Marcus Smart. And it's such an interesting trade because earlier that day, there was a reported original deal that saw Malcolm Brogdon going to the Clippers, Marcus Smart staying with the Clippers, Kristaps still coming to the Celtics, but that died, a deal that was centered around those pieces. And now we have this deal. Marcus Smart goes to Memphis, where I think at first sight you're gonna look at that and be like, okay, that's a good fit. Grit and grind city, hard-nosed team, effort, hustle, likes a crowd to get amped up with hustle plays. Marcus Smart's gonna fit in there. But overall, I'm gonna start here with you, Joseph. Where's the thought process at everything? Losing Smart, gaining Kristaps, that Eastern Conference Finals loss, and the draft picks, and just all the layers attached to this.
Uh, I'm not gonna lie. This feels like losing a relative. I was really shocked. I mean, I knew at some point it's going to happen, but not this soon, especially based on the recent achievements that this team really achieved, like trip to the NBA Finals, a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals, like 4 times since he's been there. Never miss a playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Jay? He never missed a playoff since he got
No.
there. So, by
106 playoff games, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, in his
Yeah.
Boston career.
compared to 10 from Kristaps. So, I mean, there's a lot of shock and awe, especially from the fans. I mean, I think most Celtics fans really love Marcus Smart. He's been there since 2015, and he's been true with us since the Rondo era. The last year of Rondo, first the years of IT and
You saw
Kyrie Irving.
Jonas Jerebko play in the Celtics jersey,
Yeah,
and he's out of the league already. So
yeah. Up
lot.
until today, to do our most recent finals journey, and then this last conference finals game. So, I mean, he's really beloved in the city by the fans, by the franchise. I mean, I saw some clips of Brad Stevens. He's really struggling to explain and try to talk to the media on how Marcus Smart means to the city and to the franchise. So at first it was really confusing, and we're really shocked. Like we got the news that our relative is dead, but a lot of analysts or a lot of writers out there are thinking that we really got a good haul from this trade. Kristaps Porzingis, and then two future first rounds. So we're still trying to process it. I mean, we're reading a lot of, okay, he'll be good in this offense, but really questionable in the defense. But I think personally, my main concern would be not only his durability, but also the vibes of the team.
You're talking about Kristaps, right?
Yeah, I'm really talking about Kristaps. I mean, his durability, because this is the most games he played since 2015, I think. And then, the vibes, because the Jays love Marcus Smart.
Mhm.
And now you traded him. And I read that Marcus got notified about the trade 10 minutes before it happened.
Okay,
So, I
wow,
mean,
yeah.
the vibes of the team, I don't know. It's really questionable right now. So I'm really nervous.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good time to be anxious because it's really a high risk, high reward move, right? If Kristaps is the Kristaps from last season, then you just added like an offensive dynamic that the Jays have to work with for really the first time. Have they ever had like such a lethal pick and pop threat? I know Horford was kind of that, but Horford
But it's
also,
slow. Yeah.
yeah,
He's
he was
slow.
slow. Like Kristaps is different. There's length there, and he can still protect the rim a little bit. But it's also high risk because if you're now stuck with two injury-prone big men,
Mhm.
and you just traded the guy who won Defensive Player of the Year last season, and your other big man is someone who's old, and I'm assuming they won't keep Grant Williams, or I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening there. You're suddenly playing with fire, right? Jay, what are your thoughts?
Attention all busy bees and condo dwellers. Are you struggling to keep up with your cleaning chores? Introducing the Cleaning Coach, your ultimate solution for all your cleaning needs. They are not just your ordinary cleaning service, they are your multi-service cleaning experts ready to tackle any cleaning challenge that comes our way. From general cleaning to specialized services like mattress and sofa deep cleaning, aircon cleaning, car cleaning, and so much more, the Cleaning Coach has got you covered. They take pride in delivering trustworthy, reliable, and spotless cleaning results every time. We understand that condo living can be fast-paced. leaving you with limited time to handle your cleaning tasks. That's where the cleaning coach comes in. Let the cleaning coach take care of your cleaning woes while you focus on the things that matter most to you. Sit back, relax, and let their team of skilled professionals work their magic to create a pristine living space for you. But wait, there's more. As a special offer for all you podcast listeners out there, we have an exclusive deal just for you. Mention the letters T and E when confirming your appointment through chat and get a fantastic 5% off on your first booking. It's our way of saying thank you for choosing the cleaning coach. Booking with them is a breeze. You can reach them through their social media platforms at The Cleaning Coach Rocks on Instagram or Facebook. Alternatively, you can give them a call at 0917-531-7769 or shoot them an email at thecleaningcoach@yahoo.com. Their friendly team will guide you through the booking process, answering any questions you may have. Remember, the rates are determined by the services rendered and the total size of the area or item to be cleaned. They offer transparent pricing, ensuring that you receive the best value for your money. Don't let cleaning stress you out any longer. Let the cleaning coach be your go-to cleaning partner. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the pristine environment we create just for you. Book with them today and experience the ultimate cleaning transformation.
For me, obviously, it felt like a lost relative. I've been watching this team for a really long time. Marcus Smart has been in every iteration of the team that I've saw. For me, I think the Kristaps trade allows for a different offensive schematic for this whole Celtics team, because we've never really seen the Celtics team throw the ball into the post as much as they can with Rob Williams. It's either a lob threat or a pick and roll where you just give it to Rob or you kick it out to Al.
Or Jaylen Brown dribbles with his left hand and then uses the-
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's another foul. That's another foul. But yeah, Brad Stevens unveiled that the offensive plan would be to throw it in the post, give it to Kristaps, be able to create, and that allows him to explore a new dynamic for like Joe Mazzulla. Instead of just chucking all these threes, we have a bailout guy in the post.
Really?
allows him to
Because
play make-
what's stopping from Mazzulla from saying, okay, now we can take 63 pointers?
Exactly. So we've yet to know since the season hasn't started, right? But I feel like the defensive lapses that Kristaps has gets to be filled in by our new draft guy. That's Jordan Walsh. And he allows for a really good defensive wing and a really good defensive presence inside that could be able to fill in the gaps of Kristaps. But also Kristaps is not at all a slouch on defense. He's averaged the most blocks he has in the past season. So I feel like if that trajectory of him staying healthy and playing defense is on par of what he shows last year, we could be seeing a really good new trio in the league as well. So yeah, a really good start, but a really awful feeling as a Celtics fan, because if you know that Marcus Smart dedicated his hair to his mom, and a lot of this is just him getting traded away and him not being notified properly about it, I feel like it's just at some point maybe disrespectful, but maybe just like what Al Horford did when his move to Philadelphia, he goes back, because Jason Tatum has been posting all these Instagram stories about them linking back up.
Well,
and I think it could potentially happen.
perhaps, right? But then that's to assume things with Memphis would go really bad. And I don't think that's gonna happen because Memphis needs him, if you think about it, because
Yeah.
they won't have Ja for the first 25 games of the season. They need someone to be like what Dylan Brooks is, but mentally sane. Like I saw a tweet that Marcus Smart is basically Dylan Brooks, except Marcus Smart goes to therapy. Some really smart person tweeted that. Trying to remember. So I think he's going to be like a great combo with Bane and Ja, like a glue guy with JJJ. And Memphis is going to use him really well. You want to know what my favorite Marcus Smart memory is?
Yeah.
My favorite Marcus Smart memory was Game 6 of the 2020 Eastern Conference Finals,
Oh no.
where Jaylen Brown was on fire and Marcus Smart was like, no, 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 I got this. And I'm watching that game and I'm like, you know what, Marcus, you got this. Okay, Marcus, you are the man. And I think he heard me somehow. But I do see the appeal of what it's like to root for Marcus Smart. Yeah, he makes these hustle plays, these little things that people just don't see on the stat sheet. can create multiple possessions, can swing the game by, just doing one thing that you think is a blip, but it actually just changed momentum and stopped the team's run, or it started a run toward his team. And I see the appeal of it. But you have to admit, that's a pretty good haul, right, Joseph? 2 first-round draft picks. One, I do not know why the Celtics traded down yesterday, but maybe they found someone they like. And you get to see if this Kristaps thing works. You go with Kristaps. If he does well, if he shows that he can be healthy for like 2 straight seasons, you're like, okay, let's re-sign him maybe long-term. And if it doesn't work out, well, eventually the Horford contract comes off the books. Kristaps contract comes off the books. You have this cap space to see. I mean, some of it you have to worry about the Jaylen Brown Supermax, but also at the same time, maybe you try to see how you build around those 2 guys. What's the future looking like in terms of Jay? Maybe you can say this, and then Joseph. What's the future like in terms of what Boston can do with those draft picks and how they will continue to build on this team?
So right now, Boston has a 166 million salary cap. They're over the salary cap for 2023 and 2024 by 136. I feel like that Brogdon contract of 22.5 million has to be dumped somewhere, and maybe those picks could be complementary for a trade.
But
or
can they
maybe
can
an
they
opt-in.
dunk him given the health red flags?
So I feel like there are teams that would need a 6-man, the caliber of maybe
Brogdon, yeah.
Brogdon, yeah.
We've
But
also read some reports that he might play all games this upcoming season, and the injury is
Yeah.
not that serious. So there are conflicting reports about this injury.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's with Brogdon. I just with these injuries, I tend to look at history, right? And it feels like he's dinged up somehow. Although one positive of losing Smart is now you give Derek White an expanded role. Now, is that a good thing or not, Joseph?
It is a good thing. I actually think he's our best guard last season. I trust Derek White to hold our ball, and Derek White is a better shooter than Marcus Smart. However, again, making some winning plays. Derek White is also somewhat right there. I mean, it's really, you can account for that, but I've seen a lot of Derek White winning plays. I mean, remember Game 6, right? Remember Game 6. So,
Worst 48 hours of my life after game. Terrible, man.
I can tell.
I went to a bar, I downed a pint of beer, and I felt empty. Anyway, go.
Hey, yeah, I actually just giving a preview of our 2017 redraft later. I actually saw Derek White got drafted the same class as Tatum. So I was really surprised. I thought he's like
I thought he was way older as well.
Yeah, so I was damn. So I understand the logic behind it. You're giving a much younger and a much higher potential or higher ceiling guard more opportunities.
Well, definitely. He was awesome. There was even that game 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals where he hit like 6 3-pointers. And every time he touched the ball, I was like, oh, come on. And, he played well. Now, he's a good shooter. My one concern is Boston. I always felt one of their weak points was the lack of playmaking. And that's why whenever Tatum or Brown would dribble the ball top of the key with Jimmy and Caleb playing the 2-3 zone. And I'm like, okay, every 3 times they do this, the ball is going to get stolen. And that's just because they're great scorers, but when it comes to point guard decision making, now that's where I have some questions about the team. And Jay, maybe you can answer this quickly before we move on to the next segment. Is there a deal or 2 more coming for Boston where maybe they get one of those traditional set the table kind of guys to just make sure everyone is well fed?
Attention sports enthusiasts and loyal Ateneo fans. The peak of excitement may have settled after the UAAP season, but your support for Team Ateneo should never waver. Show your unwavering spirit by proudly donning your favorite Get Blued merchandise. We have amazing news for you. You can now find the most extensive selection of authentic Ateneo gear at both Shopee Mall and Laz Mall. Gear up and embrace the blue and white pride with Get Blued's top-notch apparel. And remember, always buy original.
I feel like there is an incoming deal and maybe one of the guys involved in the deal have already revealed it in an Instagram post. Bruce Brown of the Denver Nuggets, who were just recently champions, unveiled that he's in Boston. I'm not sure if that's just a vacation post, but it popped off on social media right now. And Bruce Brown as an addition could be good as well. But for me, I feel like the draft would have been the best way for us to get those guys. Andre Jackson was there for us to get. He was a really good person to set up offense on the UConn team. But right now, I feel like the possible person that we could get is Bruce Brown to be able to feed these guys and to be able to set up offense. If not, maybe we'll stick with Malcolm Brogdon, who has pretty okay playmaking, pretty okay shot making when everything is like not on par with our off-season plans. But Brad Stevens definitely has moves under his sleeves with the Malcolm Brogdon and the picks that he has. So yeah.
I can't believe he got 2 first-round picks. Brad Stevens is good at these deals, man.
And he traded down. He actually turned it into Jordan Walsh, which is our draft pick, and then like what, 82 second round picks. And what can we remember during the last trade deadline last season? A lot of second round picks were dealt for some really good
Correct.
players. So I understand the move here. So
You mean
yeah.
like when Milwaukee traded 4 or 5 second round picks for Jay Crowder, who did not play significant minutes as they lost to an 8th seed? Anyone remember? No, okay.
Rip Bossman.
Hey, by the way, Crowder played for Miami and Boston, so we know exactly like
Yeah. We know what we're getting.
yeah, and what we're not getting. Okay, before we move on to the next segment, I just have to ask, how many minutes after the Miami Heat drafted Jaime Jaquez Jr. from UCLA did both of you start taking some fucking day this guy's going to hit 4 or 5 3-pointers in a playoff game against us and then go cold right after, aka the Caleb Martin / Max Strus / Gabe Vincent special?
Actually, I don't care about that guy. You have another undrafted Caleb guy, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah. It's the undrafted ones that always pop off against us.
I
as
don't
well.
care about the draft picks. I care about those undrafted guys who's going to hit like 6 out of 7 from 3.
Oh my
Come on, man.
I can only imagine how irritating it must have been to watch the conference finals and then hear Reggie Miller kept saying, "These undrafted guys, the undrafteds, no one believed in them."
Oh, man.
Painful.
I mean, no, listen, I understand if Caleb Martin turned into Scottie Pippen for like one series against my team, I'd be pissed. Hey, you know what though? Caleb, I think, can be like a fringe all-star guy if he got like 35 minutes, just because he's improved a lot. And I think a lot of people will be surprised and probably realize later on the Boston series was really the breakout rather than like the outlier. And I feel like there's more battles to come over the next few years. But a lot of that has to do with moves upcoming in the off season. Obviously, for Miami, the main narrative to follow right now is the guy who's in Paris listening to Will Smith songs, and then having his agent come out with apology announcements right after that. I'm talking about you, Dame Lillard. Sly, but not super sly, okay? Like, good idea, but we know what you're trying to do. But look, the Brooklyn package is real. Brooklyn can come in, swoop in, give Portland everything, and Dave can find his way to Brooklyn. Now, the Miami fit would probably be the cleanest in terms of you put him in that Gabe Vincent position and you think about he's fit next to Bam and Jimmy, and it's just like, yeah, it's complementary. He's exactly what those two guys need. But then, other than Dame, are there any other moves now that Kristaps with Boston and Chris Paul has been traded? And is there like James Harden probably going back to Philly unless Houston is just really that great of a city. But what other moves are we trying to expect from? I mean,
I
are the
think it's
Clippers going to blow it up?
Khris Middleton free agency deal.
Mm.
Because he just declined his player option from Milwaukee. That was $40 million in favor of a team that's going to grant him more longevity and more playing time. So it's a question of, is Milwaukee going to give him less to play more? Or is some other team going to give that offer for Khris Middleton? This was a bomb in the middle of the draft, which no one expected. So I'm quite unsure where Khris Middleton fits. And if somebody actually wants Khris Middleton, yeah.
Well, let's think about it. Where would be your ideal Khris Middleton fits? Because the first place that comes to my mind is Sacramento. You know, if they can find a way to get rid of the Barnes contract, and then you kind of slot in Keegan Murray in the power forward spot, and then you put Kevin Huerter 2 guard, maybe Middleton at the 3, then you surround those guys with Fox and Sabonis. Doesn't that make Sacramento way better? Or am I just like overestimating Middleton? I know I've seen Middleton a lot, having with all the Miami Milwaukee battles over the years, but I think that guy's really good.
For me, the Milwaukee fit is already okay for me for Middleton. Like, that's the best destination it could go to. But a fit that I would like to see would be a floor spacer from the Orlando Magic, and Khris Middleton is able to do that as a small forward role. So I don't think any competitive team would want Khris Middleton given his $40 million contract at the moment. But and given that it's hard to give them that contract, I feel like, a team that's not looking to compete at the moment is one that's going to give him that as well. So I don't see Khris Middleton running the East or running the West with a really good team. If he does go out of Milwaukee, maybe some other team like the Orlando Magic, or maybe even the Toronto Raptors or Pistons that are pressing the rebuild mode at the moment.
Yeah, I just really like that Sacramento fit. I mean, just imagine Fox like setting him up, and then you got the floor spacing with Murray in the corner, Middleton and Huerter in each wing. Then you have Sabonis doing his thing. I think, wow, that would make Sacramento so good. Joseph, where do you think, or where would you want Middleton to end up? Because I know you don't want to see him in Milwaukee anymore, too. I mean,
Yeah, I don't want to see him playing in TD Garden at all, man. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, how about Memphis? Do they have enough money to sign Khris Middleton? Because that's one of their issues, right? The wing position. They're very short. I
well,
mean,
let's
I'm not
search
just
that.
talking about Bane's short arms, but literally they're really short at the wing position. So
Well, I can't find their 2023-2024 cap right now, but they were at 127 million for 2022-2023. And but I like that fit too if they can make that happen. You know,
yeah,
he can really be that extra creator that they need, and he'll be with Marcus Smart. Imagine that.
yeah. I mean, what's their play during crunch time whenever the game is just really close? Just
John Moran throws himself into 5 guys.
exactly. And when you have Khris Middleton, you have your solution right there. So
LaSalle fans and Animo supporters, the crown is back in Taft. Now is the best time to secure the most incredible DLSU merchandise in the market to celebrate the Lady Spikers title conquest of Season 85. Green-Blooded Championship t-shirt is something you do not want to miss out on. It comes in 3 different colors with the name of each champion spiker on the back, names that will be remembered forever. What better way to celebrate this unforgettable season? So visit Green-Blooded on Shopee now and show off your Animo spirit.
So they have 142 million for their 2024 cap space. Jay, do you know if this is close to? I don't think that's close to reaching the total cap, right?
It's not. But it's a matter of, are they willing to pay an aging and an injury-prone Middleton? If that's the concern. I feel like, they do need old guy, and Khris Middleton could be that old guy. Marcus Smart could be that old guy to tell Ja to put the gun down and give some maturity to the team.
like the Michael
And
Jackson clip of
yeah,
putting down
exactly.
the gun.
So yeah,
I think they have a few more deals in them because I'm looking at their payroll right now. So John Moran 34 million, of course. Jaren Jackson 27, Marcus Smart 18.5, Luke Kennard at 14.7. That's something they'll have to deal.
that's
Especially
huge for Luke
exact,
Kennard.
Yikes.
exactly. Especially if you want to get Middleton, right? And then Steven Adams 12.6, Brandon Clark 12.5. I'm okay with keeping one of them, but maybe if you can package it Kennard, Adams slash Clark for another player, and then say, or maybe for cap space, see if you can sign Middleton. And Desmond Baines at only 3.8 million, and there's like a extension coming soon, so you're gonna have to pay him as well. So interesting times. Okay, let's go to the 2017 NBA redraft. I'm super excited to do this. I've never done a redraft on the podcast ever. This would be the first time. And 2017, okay. So why did I pick 2017? One, I think because it's been 6 years since 2017, and that's a lot of time. Two, so it's a lot of time, and now we can really look back that these players have played quite a significant portions of their NBA career. So then two is because when you look at the top two picks of the draft, Fultz and Ball, it's so interesting that they would definitely not go top two right now if you did that, right? And if you look at the top four, there's another player there that won't even make probably like the top, maybe the first round in Josh Jackson, interestingly enough. So the rules are simple. We're only going to pick the first 15 picks again. We're each going to get 3 picks. It's going to be a snake draft format. So I'm going to start at 1. I'll let Joseph go at 2. Then Jay, you go at 3. And then you'll go again at 4. And Joseph at 5. Me at 6. We'll do the snake draft format. And we won't take too much time, of course, with each pick that we're going to say. But each time we do make a pick, and I want you to just think at the top of your minds, why is this guy your pick? So you can rattle off reasons like, okay, defensive player of the year, or made all NBA team, or went to the finals. Basically mentioned everything that probably the person has accomplished, and then we'll go from there. There's some people obviously self-explanatory, which is how I lead into my number one pick. I think from the 2017 draft, my number one pick would be Jason Tatum, perennial MVP candidate, All NBA. I believe he was All NBA first team, right? This season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
All NBA first team. Huge playoff experience factor into that. Been to the NBA finals, been to multiple conference finals, went up against the best guys. Went up against LeBron his rookie season, has gone up against Jimmy Butler, went up against Steph and the Warriors. Best player, franchise guy. I think that's a no-brainer, number one. So your turn, Joseph, number 2.
Number 2, I'll pick Bam Adebayo right away. I mean, if I'm going to start a franchise, and I'm looking at this draft, I mean, he's the best big guy in this draft class, right? So yeah, I'll go for Bam Adebayo.
Best defender of the draft class, I would say.
Yep.
Number 3, Jay.
I'm gonna have to go Donovan Mitchell. So recently just got 71 points, 4-time All-Star, 2023 All-NBA. Sky's the limit for this guy. And I feel like he would have been a good fit for the Celtics if we were picking and redrafting everything again.
Definitely. Donovan Mitchell. He would have probably gone number 2 in this list before this past playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think the defensive side of the ball, he might need to improve a little bit. Feels like one of those guys who needs to be surrounded by good teammates. And I think that's really what separates Tatum and Bam from Donovan right now, where they can be like the establishment of their team, whether that's an offense or defense. And Donovan is kind of like an amazing piece you add to a great core. But you go again, Jay, number 4.
Yeah. So Phoenix originally selected Josh Jackson, but I feel like in this scenario they'd have to pick 1-time All-Star and 1-time All-NBA selection, De'Aaron Fox, which has been a revelation for Sacramento. Not just a really fast guy now. He's able to shoot from 3 levels. He's able to play make. He's able to feed it off to Domantas Sabonis at the post. Knows his off-ball movement well. I feel like De'Aaron Fox would have been such a good fit with Devin Booker if it happened, or even right now they wouldn't have needed Bradley Beal to be in there, or even maybe Kevin Durant. They wouldn't have needed him if De'Aaron Fox
Or they
was
wouldn't
there.
have needed Chris Paul as well.
Exactly.
So it's interesting because first pick I went Tatum, that was Philly. So just imagine Tatum and Embiid together for like 7-8 seasons. They'd probably make an NBA Finals by now. Second pick went to the Lakers. If they had taken Bam Adebayo at that point, I wonder would they have still gone for the AD trade, or would Bam have been in the AD trade and now he's in the Pelicans instead of Zion? That's a good what if. Number 3, Donovan Mitchell. We said, imagine if he went to the Celtics, right? And he was together with Jaylen Brown. That's quite an interesting fit. And the number 4, you went with De'Aaron Fox. Fox and Booker together. That would have been quite the alternate timeline. Okay, Joseph for number 5.
Number 5. I don't know if you're going to like this, but I'm going to pick Kyle Kuzma.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. That's huge.
Okay,
That's
okay.
huge.
Explain
Okay.
Kyle Kuzma to the Sacramento Kings.
NBA Finals appearance, right? And I
Okay.
think he's one of the top 3 wing talents in this draft class. I mean, right now he's super underrated. Not the best player, but super underrated. He's doing really well in Washington, I think. And he can score anywhere on the floor. Not the best scorer anywhere on the floor, but he can score anywhere on the floor, and he can guard multiple positions as well. Given the favorable matchup, so I would say Kyle Kuzma for that fifth pick.
Very, very interesting. That is like the first shocker. Okay,
Exactly.
so how do I follow that up? No, so number 6, I'm picking for the Orlando Magic here. I have a few options in mind, but I want to run through this again. You know what? Okay, I think I am going to go Lauri Markkanen.
Mm.
Lauri Markkanen. I have the next pick anyway, but I was debating between Laurie, Jarrett Allen, and OG Anunoby. I think I went with Laurie because offensively, we're really starting to see what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's a 3-level scorer now. He is arguably the best player on the Utah team, depending on how you feel about Walker Kessler. But he can hit threes, he can drive, hit these free throws, can handle a bit for a big guy, and you can see him really improving. And I just like multi-dimension offensive players. I think when you think about the NBA playoffs now and how hard it can be to score sometimes against good defenses, you need a guy like that who can kind of be a reliable, tall offensive weapon. Next pick, since it's my turn again, I am going to go OG Anunoby
And
because
that's a good one, yeah.
he's in. It feels like he should actually go higher in this list, but I feel like 7 is like a great spot for him here in a redraft because he can hit 3-pointers, he can play defense, can hit some mid-range pull-ups, can pass a little bit. My question is, he is still young in his mid-20s, but he's already been quite injury prone, so that kind of like made me pick Lauri Markkanen over OG for that 6th pick. Joseph, your 8th pick is on the clock.
8 pick on the clock. I'll pick Derek White.
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
There's
okay.
so much shockers from Joseph today.
Yeah, I mean, just lost Marcus Smart, man. So let's put it out there. So Derek White. Yeah, he just made the second all defensive team. He's really an okay ball handler. He's turning into a better shooter right now, and you can trust the ball with him, and tons of playoff experiences during his tenureship with the Celtics. So yeah, I'll pick Derek White.
I'm surprised you didn't go Semi Ojale.
I was
Gershon
about to.
Yabusele is also in this draft.
No, okay, Derek White. I like that pick because he can handle, he can shoot, can play make a little bit, good defender, clutch player, playoff experience. Yeah, good pick, Joseph. Jay, next 2 picks are yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Jarrett Allen, all defensive guy and an all-star. Really good rim protector. Just needs to develop a little bit of an outside shot or maybe a mid-range. Otherwise, he's good. As a big man, he's a lateral threat, vertical threat, and he's able to set screens really well. I feel like he fits really good on any team that just needs an inside presence. Yeah.
Nice, nice. That was pick number 9, I
9.
believe, right? Yeah. So we went 7, OG Anunoby. Imagine if he went to Minnesota with Cat. I think that would be a good fit, actually. Better than the Gobert Cat fit. The 8th pick, Joseph went Derek White. He would have been a Nick. So would we have seen a Brunson White backcourt? Jalen Brunson, by the way, is like my favorite non-Miami player right now. I fucking love watching that guy. The guy's
It's fun to watch, yeah.
excuse my language, but that guy's a bad mother effer. Like crazy good guy. And then 9th pick, Jay went with Jarrett Allen to the Dallas Mavericks. Hey, Luka gets a big man. Okay. No, Luka wasn't drafted here yet. So imagine that. 10th pick, Sacramento Kings eventually traded to the Portland Trailblazers. This is you again, Joseph.
This one is tough because looking at the remaining players here, it's starting to really get rough here.
There are quite a few options actually. There's two more notable guys who've been in the playoffs who haven't been drafted yet. Yeah, I mean, I think Jonathan Isaac from a talent perspective should have gone higher, but you just never know if he's going to be in the court or not. Yeah,
and if we will say the right things.
yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm going to pick here Josh Hart.
I knew it. I had a feeling that's what your
Josh
pick was
Hart.
going to be. You have a type, bro. Anyway, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it. Why Josh Hart?
He's really a good small wing guy. He can defend. He can shoot.
He can hurt Jimmy Butler's ankle. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I have not much explanation, but I really like Josh Hart.
Okay. Well, that's a good pick. I think Josh Hart is really awesome in any team because you can fit him in multiple possessions until you start leaving him open in a playoff game and he breaks 3-pointers. But other than that, solid player. Would take him in any team. Okay, I have to pick this guy next because it's too long. Pick 11. I'm going John Collins, Atlanta Hawks. Kinda meh so far. I thought he was really starting to break out in that Philly series where Atlanta just turned Ben Simmons into a pumpkin. He had a dunk over Embiid, super athletic, great lob threat. The 3-point shot has been really inconsistent, and I think that's what's holding him back. And I thought maybe at this point we would see more of like a face-up penetration game, get to the free throw line. But also at the same time, I think it's so hard to evaluate players when they're playing with Trae Young, just because he has the ball so much. And like, listen, you guys watch the Celtics take on John Collins in the playoffs, and there were moments where he was really good. There were moments where he just kind of disappeared. But I imagine that maybe if John Collins is drafted to another team, who knows? Maybe he's even higher in this list and this redraft right now. I'm picking him 11th. He goes to Charlotte. That's another place that, you don't want any player to go. Sorry, Mr. Miller. But yeah, John Collins at 11 for me. And then at 12, since I'm going back to back here. Or are we at 13? Do you guys remember?
We're at 12. We're at 12.
12. Yeah.
Okay. So I would go. I really don't want to take Dylan Brooks, man. I really do not want to take Dylan Brooks.
For the clout.
But for the views.
Gosh damn it. Okay, I'm not going Dylan Brooks. I'm going Isaiah Hartenstein. I like that guy. And look, Dylan Brooks is a better player than Hartenstein, but I just know that Hartenstein isn't going to go whack. And Hartenstein is such a solid big man. Against that Heat series in the semifinals, he was beating Bam to like a bunch of offensive rebounds. I feel like he won them that game 2 with his hustle. He changed that game. Smart player, knows how to roll to the rim, knows how to pass, knows how to defend. I'd be happy with him as a backup big man. Now I believe it's Joseph's turn.
What pick am I?
13.
13. Okay. I'm 13. This one is tough.
Oh,
Okay.
there's one more guy.
Yeah,
all
there's
of us
one.
missed.
There's one that you guys missed.
And I think you're going to like it, and you will say, I have a type. It's Malik Monk.
Yeah,
Damn.
It's Malik Monk.
Actually, if I had a do over, I'd take Monk over Hart. No,
Hartenstein, yeah.
I like Hartenstein actually. Go for it.
Yeah, Malik Monk never had the most fruitful couple of first years in his career, and now he's found a home in Sacramento. So he's reliable, not really reliable, but he's a good off the bench
Yes.
scorer. So he's starting to gain a lot of confidence and experience with Sacramento. So right now he's really good. So yeah, I think he's fit for the 14th pick.
Okay, nice. That was 13, I think, right?
13, sorry.
13,
Yeah.
All right. So that Malik Monk would have gone to the Denver Nuggets. Imagine him with Jokic. Okay, Miami Heat on the clock. Pick number 14,
So,
which turned
if
out to be Bam Adebayo, but Jay in the redraft, that is.
I think that's Zach Collins. It's the same fit. It's the same guy. You get like an 11, 20-point scorer per game. You get a really good rebounder, crashes the boards really well. And Zach Collins can play make sometimes. So he has a career average of at least 3 assists per game. when he
Okay.
plays, and that's pretty solid for me. Zach Collins could be the playmaker that Bam wants to be, and I feel like he's doing wonders right now for his team at the Spurs. And I feel like he's going to be a good mentor and a good running mate to Wemby when time comes, and if he's still in the Spurs rotation, because
Very interesting.
yeah, Zach Collins.
And pick number 15. Your remaining options look like
Yeah.
they're Dylan Brooks. Who else was in this draft class?
Markel
Yeah,
Fultz.
Markel
Markel
Fultz.
Fultz, Lonzo. Oh
Markel
my
Fultz is still
God.
here.
None of
Yeah.
us picked Fultz. Wow, and Ball.
Bol, yeah.
I think Markel should be higher, right? Or is
I
he
think-
kind of in the right spot here?
Yeah, I
He's
think
just
he's
starting to grow.
properly. Yeah, he's
But
just
by
starting.
by by the way, if Lonzo's knees are healthy and we don't know right now if he's ever going to play basketball, like he'd definitely be higher on this list. But just
Definitely.
because of that health factor, we're considering that. Is he the pick at 15?
Yeah, I'd pick Markel Fultz at 15 here because you got a really solid ball handler. His jump shot is back again after a horrendous 2 years where he couldn't shoot a shot. And then you get really good playmaking off of him already.
Very
So,
athletic as well.
yeah,
Mhm.
he could cut, he could do all the off-ball stuff. And Markel
Yeah.
Fultz is just him at the moment.
If he could string together a few healthy seasons, and this is also why I didn't pick Zach Collins higher, just because I feel like the health factor, you have to consider that. But definitely, I think Markel would be higher in the list. And who knows, by the end of the upcoming season, we probably think about this and be like, yeah, he should have been in the top 10 at least.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah,
think-
fun.
I think we got it right for the most part. Definitely heck of a season for the Celtics. I thought you guys were going to win the championship there for a little bit, to be honest. And then,
Me too, bro. Me too.
yeah, and then once Grant Williams talked trash to Jimmy, I mean,
It was over. It was over then. Then Al Horford just
and the Al Horford timeout. Yeah, that felt weird for them to do given the history of both teams. But hey, you guys pushed it to 7 games. That was insane and mentally tiring. Definitely. It goes to
Yeah.
show how hard it is to beat one team 4 straight times. Miami didn't do it. Boston didn't do it. And ultimately, that game 7 proved the difference. Okay, so anything you both want to plug before we call it a day?
Oh yeah. Just want to plug my social media. That's Taco Tuesday on Instagram and J Post Sports on Twitter. And also I have a podcast coming out. I might have Naveen or Joseph on there. It's the Horns Out podcast is coming out next month. It's all NBA and college sports about the NCAA. Yeah.
Sweet.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Jay. Can't wait to see that. Joseph, love the background on your TV. Anything you want to plug?
Nothing to plug. Just follow me on Twitter, Celtics Manila. That's Celtics MNL. Love and trust forever, baby.
Love and trust.
I thank you guys.